Verizon plans to fire 20,000 employees. Guys, that's 20% of their workforce. This is the largest round of layoffs in the company's history. But it doesn't end there. Verizon is converting up to 200 corporate-owned retail stores into franchises. It's a complete changing up of their structure. Now, the new CEO, Dan Schulman, took over in October, and he said that the wireless carrier will need to take steps to strengthen customer loyalty, eliminate practices and processes that detract from the customer experience, and leverage AI to simplify offers. He did also note that Verizon is just, quote, scratching the surface regarding how AI can improve customer satisfaction. But guys, it doesn't just end with Verizon. Amazon, 14,000 jobs fired just last month with another 60,000 predicted. We recorded a video on that. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you already know this is happening. You already see it. We covered this. UPS, 48,000 jobs. Covered that a couple weeks ago. You know this. If you're a subscriber, you know this. 6 days a week, fresh videos about what's happening in the job market, about how AI is impacting the workforce. We covered it. Indeed, IBM, Target, Salesforce, Klarna. We covered all these stories. It is so shocking to me when I start, I was at a softball game the other night, and I was talking to a guy, and I was saying, AI is really impacting the workforce. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, did you know about this company and this company, this company? People are asleep on this. And I gotta say, it is terrifying to me. People ask me, Mark, why are you always dooming, glooming people on your videos? And I wanna wake people up to what's happening, because I do believe that you, as a man in 2025, hold power. You have the ability to remain relevant, respected, financially free in this new world. You play a very, very important place. Your kids need you, your wives need you, your families need you, your communities need you to step up and be the man that you're meant to be. And it's not gonna get easier. It's gonna get really bad, guys. And so in these videos that I'm bringing, we wanna talk about the pain, we wanna talk about what's coming, but we also wanna, I end every video with solutions and at least how I'm attacking these problems. Because I'm just like you, I'm not like a tech CEO. I mean, I would consider myself fairly successful, but I'm not immune to the AI takeover that is happening. Anyway, let's get back to what's happening with Verizon here, okay? What is happening? So one of the things I found interesting when I started diving into this story is that their Q3 financials were quite strong. Their net income was $5.1 billion. That's a 50% year-over-year increase. Their earnings per share, $1.17. That's a 50% year-over-year increase. But here was the number that I thought was a little shocking and probably part of why they're bringing on a new CEO. And guys, there are so many smart guys in the comments. Go to the comments and leave your thoughts on the story. That's how I learn. That's how I bring you new stories. It's, you guys are freaking awesome. This is the stat that I thought was interesting. Their operating revenue was $33.8 billion. That is only up 1.5% year over year. And, in this kind of like big corporate world with stocks and exchanges and bulls and bears and capital investment, CapEx spending, and AI specifically, if you're not growing your profits, if you're not growing your revenue, if you're not growing your market share, if you're not growing, you're shrinking, you're dying. And so I think Verizon, like many other companies, is saying, hey, we need to figure this out. We need to do something different. Now, this also is on top of an extremely competitive market. And the competition is very, very fierce. And the other thing that I think is worth noting is that the US market is pretty mature. There's not like a ton of new cell phone subscribers entering the market on a regular basis. I'm actually preparing for a video next week where specifically I'm gonna be talking about H-1B visas and how we're not having children anymore. And a declining birth rate causes a lot of problems. And I think that's kind of where I'm getting at here. If we have a declining birth rate, there's only, the amount of women, the children per woman is 1.6. It's down from about 2.2 a few years ago. So women aren't having kids anymore. And so if women aren't having kids, you're not having new people entering the workforce. You're not having new customers. And again, what we're seeing with Verizon here is we see a saturated, mature market. There's not a lot of new people out there to buy new phone plans and new phones, okay? In addition to that, the subscriber growth has slowed because people are not excited about paying like a premium price on this particular type of product. There's, like, the reality is, there's a lot of options out there. AT&T, T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, you know, the videos where Ryan Reynolds is saying like, oh, the big mobile companies just want to rake you over the coals. I don't necessarily think that they're wrong. I don't think that he's necessarily wrong. The reality is that cell phones are ubiquitous, internet is everywhere, and this idea, the big competitive advantage that Verizon had in the past was we have the best mobile network. You know, when you're with Verizon, you're gonna have internet everywhere. There's never gonna be a time where you don't have internet. The issue is, I think that basically every company can kind of stand on that right now. Like, you know, by the way, as a Verizon user, when I'm seeing AT&T, T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, they all have cheaper plans and their internet's better, and Verizon is firing a bunch of people, and Verizon is losing market share, I'm thinking to myself, why do I even still have Verizon? Real talk. Real talk. I don't think that this news is very good for them, because now I'm thinking, maybe I could get better or similar coverage for less money. And we talked about this. I'll post a link to this video here. People are not, we don't have a ton of extra money. Inflation is way up. And we covered what's happening with Chipotle. The Chipotle stock has completely cratered this year. It's down 45% since the beginning of the year, because robots don't buy burritos, guys, and people don't have the expendable income. Their target market of households making under $100,000 a year, they're not eating fast food burritos for $15 to $20 on a regular basis anymore. So their same store sales are way down. Anyway, I won't go into all that. You can check out that video here. But I think the same thing is happening to Verizon. Are you really willing to pay a premium price for a product that's comparable to what you can get with another company at less money? I don't think so. And that's a big problem that they need to resolve. They also noted in Q3 the company reported net losses in wireless retail post-paid phone subscriptions for the first time in recent quarters. Guys, people aren't buying new phones. People are not going to Verizon saying, I need this expensive new phone. I need the expensive new plan. I need the premium plan. It's just not working. And so Verizon has really kind of doubled down on, we need to give, if we can't compete on the best network, well, maybe we compete on the best customer experience. We want to double down on satisfaction. And what I also think is interesting, and during their press release, they didn't necessarily say that they're going to be firing people and replacing them with AI. They did again say, Dan Schulman said, CEO said, that they are just scratching the surface on what's possible with AI. But here's what's going to happen. Bold prediction over the next few years. Companies are going to continuously experiment, and a few months rather, they're going to experiment, they're going to test, they're going to try all these new AI platforms, and some of the companies are going to be very successful with it. Some of the companies are going to be very successful, and all the other companies are going to copy and paste that model, whether it's HR, whether it's SDR work, whether it's customer service. Salesforce, we covered this in a video too, I'll post a link to it here. Salesforce fired 45% of their customer service staff because they're claiming that their software is just so good at resolving customer service problems. It might not be successful. They might end up having to hire people back. This is something that we saw Klarna do. Klarna fired basically their entire customer service staff, said, quality control dropped, we need to hire people back. So there's definitely a possibility that we see some of that. However, some companies are going to figure it out. Some companies are going to solve the problem of AI agents. In fact, I have a really good video coming for you tomorrow, so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. I have a really good video about this tomorrow. Regardless, when these companies figure out these problems, when these companies say, hey, we were able to slash our operations costs by 40% because of AI agents, every single company is going to copy them. Don't you see? How do people not see this? And listen, I probably need to record an entire video on the ethics of this thing, but a company doesn't owe you a job. I just don't see it that way. yeah, oh gosh, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. While a company doesn't owe you a job, there are laws. You can't just fire people for no reason. But look, the bottom line is this, because I've run multiple organizations. I'm currently the CMO for a SaaS company. The reality is that people are very, very expensive. People don't listen. You'll be in a meeting, they'll say they're going to do something this way. They end up doing it a different way. People get sick, they don't respond. There's all sorts of problems that come with human beings. And by the way, I love human. I'm very much pro-human. Have more babies, guys. Guys, go out and make more babies. Very pro-human. But before I get off my rant here and kind of close down this video, the reality is this. Companies are going to continue to experiment with AI. In some cases, it's not going to work, and those companies are going to have a rough time. In some cases, it will work. And companies are going to become super, super effective, and they're going to skyrocket. They're going to go very, very quickly. Other companies will see that, and they will implement those same tactics and strategies and softwares. And so what we're going to see over the coming years is we're going to see complete, like, jobs that you're solving today are not going to be around in the future. You know, Verizon wants to be simpler, leaner, scrappier. Every company's looking at that, and AI is a really good way to do that. I mean, I covered how most of the internet is AI slop right now, because most people are not working smart, they're working lazy, and they're thinking, oh, I could just chat GPT and post whatever bull crap it gives me. That's not the answer. That stuff is going to get better, but the smart people, the guys like you and me, who are leveraging the software, getting better results more quickly, not just copy and pasting, but using it to inform ideas, we're going to be in a much better spot. Much better spot. Because here's the bottom line, guys. We need to think simpler, leaner, faster, smarter. We need to think like the companies think. We need to think, we cannot just show up and clock in. We need to say, hey, if I'm going to work on a project, what is the goal? What is the desired result from this project? If I'm successful, what does success looks like? And how does that track back to me? How can I go to my next customer, my next client, my next employer and say, this is what I did for these guys, and I can do the same, if not better for you. You can spend months trying to find someone who can do it half as good as me, but I've done it before. Here's the project I set out on. Here's the results I got. That is the goal, guys. Because while most people are out there just clocking in and clocking out without any results, you and me, we're going to have results. We're going to have software. We're going to know how to solve problems. And furthermore, don't be too reliant on a job. You know, we're moving into a new, I know I'm a little bit all over the place, guys. I appreciate your patience here. We're moving into a new type of economy where you cannot be reliant on jobs. You need to be reliant on yourself and the problems that you're able to solve, on the relationships that you have. Because the job you have today is probably not going to be the same job you have in 5 years. And it's different now. This is not the way it was when we were growing up. This is not the way it was during Gen X going through the workforce. The baby boomers, their model was, don't go to jail. Okay, spoiler, don't go to jail. That's a good start. But their model was go to college, buy a house, get married, get a good job, and coast for 40 years. Make sure you invest in your 401k. Now things are different. Things have completely changed. Because the job that you have today might not even exist in a few months, let alone a few years. So grow the skills, generate different types of side incomes. I have 4 different types of side incomes right now. I talk about it in my newsletter. You can go subscribe to my newsletter at aiupdate.ai. That email is dropping tomorrow. I have 4 different streams of income. So if my main income gets taken out from underneath me, I've got 3 more I can lean on. You know what I'm saying? That's the game, guys. That's the game. Listen, I'm gonna close it down here. Appreciate you watching the channel. I appreciate you being part of the community. I can see that something special is happening. There are thousands of really, really smart guys in the comments. So go down there and engage, share your thoughts, go forth, conquer, have babies, be relevant, respective, and financially free. And definitely check out yesterday's video where we talk about what Glassdoor had to say about the 2026 job market. And there is an insidious, secret type of firing that's happening that nobody's talking about. You got to go check out that video so you understand what's happening in the job market, guys. I'll see you there. Take advantage. See you guys. Peace.